another exciting episode, and we have Mr. Raymond Tunez with us here today. What was the one thing that stuck out throughout your apprenticeship?
First day on the job, I was on a service crew, and that was climbing school, and learning how to hang a service school, and working with things hot school, and your lesson was all in one day.
Oh, wow.
They gave me a set of tools and said, "All right, climb up there and belt off right below the secondary bus." I said, "Below the what?" I didn't even know what a freaking secondary bus was. I remember cutting out a couple times because we used to free climb back then, you know. We used to free climb, run up the pole. I got to the point where I could run up a pole like nothing and not even look at my feet, you know.
Right.
And I remember one time I cut out those nasty poles on Miami Beach, and it cut out, grabbed the pole, I hugged that pole and I rode it all the way down until I was like 2 inches from the ground. And when I got off the pole, my shirt was gone.
So what was the attire like back then?
Oh yeah, we didn't.
Long sleeve?
You had to wear a long sleeve shirt.
That was the only requirement.
And we didn't wear work gloves. Work gloves were optional.
Oh, nice. Work gloves
we didn't like to wear work gloves because we like to feel the pole with your hands while you're climbing, because we were free climbing. So you want to feel and grip the pole. It was kind of like discouraged to wear gloves while climbing. This is why my hands look the way they do. I don't know if you can see that.
I'm sure there's lots of reasons why they look that way.
They're kind of gnarly, but
we'll try to cover a few of them.
We used to, we didn't have ratchet cutters. We didn't have hydraulic cutters. We didn't have battery operated tools. We didn't have sweethearts.
Everything's El Manuel, huh?
Everything was harder. And things have gotten a lot easier and better, more ergonomic.
The industry's come a long way.
The industry's come a long way as far as reducing wear and tear. And so, even pole climbing, you know, using the buck squeeze.
So what, back in those days, what were the types of the injuries that you would see that were common in the service centers?
So these guys, one guy, they didn't test the manhole. Now we were required to test the manhole. We were required to have a tripod standing by. We were required to do all these things, but it was one of these things back then that nobody did it. We knew we had to do it, but a lot of guys got away with not doing it, and they didn't do it. And that day, one guy went down and succumbed to mangrove gas and was face down in the freaking water and in the manhole. Second guy went down to rescue him. He was face down in the water.
Wow.
Third guy went down to rescue him. He was face down in the water. The fire department got there. They didn't have a way to get him out. They tried to tie a rope around him and tie it and pull him out. It was really hard to pull a 200-plus pound guy out of a freaking manhole. They finally got those guys out. Luckily, none of them got killed by some miracle.
Salud, Ray.
Salud.
Salud.
Hey, man. This is the thing in Central, you know?
Yeah. Cuban
It's
coffee.
a long way from West Virginia, buddy.
We gotta get that energy going.
You hear the music in the background, too?
Oh, that's delicious. What do they call that again?
It's called Cuban coffee.
That's delicious.
Yeah.
We don't have anything like that in West Virginia. So let's go to the first. I guess the first time you had an injury that put the brakes on.
Oh.
You know, like, hey, this is serious.
They sent us to go help a crew in West Dade. There was a feeder pole down this dirt road where they had a quarry.
I remember this.
Well, because of me, now you can't ride in a bucket.
Yeah, let's talk about that. That's
because
what I was going with.
Before you could ride in a bucket,
pole to pole,
but foreman goes, "Hey, you mind going down and closing a set of switches?" And I go, "Okay, where is it?" It goes, "It's just down like the next pole down or so." And it turned out, I said, "Okay, I'll just ride up here in a bucket." because I have all this stuff up here, and I want to have to take all this down. We wanted to get this feeder back on, you know. So I'm riding in the bucket, but it turned out to be further than it was. And then we hit the speed bump, and I was in like a High Ranger type bucket, double bucket. It wasn't latched.
And it didn't have the rest under the basket.
No, that came up after. So the bucket went like this. I don't know if you caught that, and it went like that and just catapulted me out of the bucket.
And as you were being driven down the road.
Yeah, as he was driving down the road and hit the speed bump. And I remember being thrown out of the bucket and saying, this is not going to be good. I actually thought that. This is not going to be good.
Coming from you, that had to have been a very weird feeling.
So I woke up in the belly of the truck covered with blood. I had smashed my head in. But I felt okay. But then I found out that I had smashed my skull here, and they had to take some, excuse the glare, I had to take some bone from here.
Boy, that's a head and a half there, isn't it, guys?
And then put it here in my forehead and put some screws in.
Well, it's funny that this is something that you're talking about because, I was actually there as well.
Right.
When this accident occurred, and yeah, you did have you had a hole the size, you could put your fingers in the hole in his head.
Something metal and cylindrical hit my head. I think it was like we had a bunch of switches, like dropout switches on the belly of the truck on a rack there. Maybe I hit one of those. I don't know what it was that I hit with my head. They said it came like quarter of an inch from going into my brain and causing really, really bad damage. But I recovered, I'm okay.
Bet you did.
I set off all the alarms at TSA now, but did I have any other accidents after that? And then I had a barrel fall off an extendo stick and hit me in the. I had my hard hat on, but it still like smashed my hard hat against my head, and I had a little cut. I got some stitches, but because of me, at that time, the pigtail was optional because a lot of guys weren't used to the pigtail, and I didn't like the pigtail at first either. But now I don't know how we ever did that without the pigtail.
I've said it all along. Had it been a normal individual, they definitely would have made it through that accident. They would have never came back to work.
Yeah, I know, but there's more.
Well, there's always more with you.
There's more.
Right?
2 years ago, I fell off a roof, landed on my head, woke up in the trauma center, and the guy says, I go, what am I doing here? He goes, you fell off 15 feet and landed on your head, and you have bleeding of the brain and some fractured vertebrae. I go, oh, okay. Anybody call my wife?
Your poor wife.
Because I'm Braulio.
I think this was when I first actually came back.
Shout out to Braulio.
Let's wait a minute now.
Huh? You getting ahead of myself?
You fell off the roof, right?
Yeah.
And Braulio was there to save you.
Yeah. Well, we had the service. I'm making up the weatherhead. Finished. The weatherhead was like, I don't know, maybe like 8 feet away from the edge of the roof. So it was like in all those old houses where they have like a meter room. So the weatherhead goes into a meter room, and it's not outside the edge of the house. I had a ladder up against the edge of the roof. I took my grunt bag with all my tools. I finished making up the weatherhead, and Braulio's looking at me, and I'm walking towards the ladder, and I don't know what happened, because I remember just losing my balance and trying to grab something, but there's nothing there to grab, and saying to myself, "Oh no, I'm gonna fall off this roof."
Here we go again.
Here, actually thinking, "Oh no, I'm gonna fall," and I'm falling forwards. And Braulio, I don't know. I woke up in his arms, and I'm like, "Why are we laying here in this backyard? And why am I in your arms?
Well, why are you holding me?
What the hell's going on?" And he's like, "Oh man," my brother had already called 911, and then I went back out again, and then I woke up again in the hospital. And
So
so
you're looking back on the last 38 years. Would you do it again?
I would, but knowing what I know now, I would say, hey, how come we don't use this freaking fall arrest system? That's a lot easier. Why don't we? I'm sure there's got to be some crimpers that are battery operated or cutters that are battery operated. Hey,
Right.
why don't you use the extendo instead of trying that off a pole? Use the longest stick possible. Hey, let's not ride in that
That's
bucket because
called progression, and,
it's,
and we're always evolving to something better. Oh yeah, please.
oh. Damn, remember I had a Red Bull. All right.
Thanks, Jose.
Thank you, Jose. Oh man, I heard that, bro. Hey, cheers.
Surprised you can reach that
Big one.
far, you old fart.